Okay, so you're going through that, right? And by the time my grandfather died, it was the second bout I had with somebody close. My first one was my grandma. She passed 2016, lung cancer. About 3 years, I watched a vibrant woman who I loved more than life itself. She was my best friend. We did everything together. She was my everything. She was my angel. We would sit, we would have nights together and talk. And yeah, that gets me. I think that will always get me, the loss of her. Um, but yeah, we would sit and we would talk. And when she died, everything went numb. It just went dark. It went numb. And that's, like I said, that's a horrible feeling, to go numb. I'd rather feel everything than feel nothing like that. Nothing matters at that point. That's a rough feeling. So I went numb. And then like a few years later, my grandfather had gotten sick, and the same thing, and it progressed, and he was just rough. He was horrible at the time because he, if you know my grandfather, you know how he was, right? So that was rough, and that crushed me. And the way he passed was traumatic. It was it was extremely traumatic for me. It was the last picture I have of him was bleeding out through everything, aspirating, and me having to call an ambulance, and then going to meet him there thinking that it was gonna be like every other time when he fell or went to the doctors, and seeing an ambulance there, and then having to go and give orders to have, whatever done, and then him being on a ventilator. Yeah. So, and then being that feeling of guilt, because it's typical. And I talked to the nurse, and I broke, and she said, "It's what are you guilty for?" I said, "I don't feel like I was doing enough when I was doing more than any person could do at that time." So anyway, I was in a state, and my family had started grooming me on my dad's side, and my dad called me and said, "Do you want to sue them?" Because there was a settlement that we were supposed to get from Jackson, right? And my uncle, being the con artist that he was, he went ahead and made sure that my mom, my aunt, and he got the money, right? And took care of themselves. And at that time, I was crippled. I was working in the hospital during the pandemic, and I have rheumatoid arthritis, and I ended up crippled. And I've been crippled like a few times to where I couldn't walk. I had to relearn how to walk. I had to go to rehab a few times. I've worn braces on my knees, and I've been vocal about it. It's a lot. I've been in a lot of pain at times. There's times when it's excruciating. Like sometimes I'll just sit here and it'll be throbbing. And the fact, so I was crippled. I couldn't work. So I was living off savings a lot. And like that was the one excuse my mom would be like, "Well, she's working now. Why couldn't she? How'd I end up homeless?" So, and that's how that goes. So to save her own face, because a narcissist can't be faced with a mirror. It doesn't go well. They don't see, they will not see it. They will not understand what's going on. They just don't understand it. They don't have the capabilities. And yeah, so she had already started like telling people, she's crazy, and because of my spiritual practices, it's, witchcraft, I'm the devil. Because meanwhile, like, you're doing like wicked evil stuff, but you're going and praising God. Anything can come out of your mouth, but the proof is in the pudding, right? So yeah, so at that time, they basically screwed me over, and not one of you. And on top of it, I'm pretty sure that my uncle forged documentation, because he's a psychologist, and he has the means to do so, and he's not morally. He has no morals. He doesn't care. He's a con artist, and that was the thing. Like, grandma used to always say that, and I would always stick up for him. And you could see in previous posts where I explained, and I put it up there. I put it on blast, because you guys went and put me through a smear campaign, right? And you were okay with that. And the thing of it was mostly lies, probably, or embellishments on things that had happened or things taken out of content, to show that, because you have to portray that my character is bad and you have to make it believable. But here's the thing, I wasn't supposed to be here. I was supposed to be gone, like my aunt. So you could go back in previous posts too and see what happened to my aunt. And that's the thing, when you look back at when you're finally out of a situation and you take emotions away from it and you go look back, you'll start seeing like the little red flags and details of the things that happened. And you're like, whoa. And I'm like, how did I miss that? Like the fact that my family on my dad's side never bothered with me either. They just didn't bother with me. My grandma, my great-grandma, not my great-grandma, I'm sorry, my grandma on my dad's side. I used to ask her, because I'd be like, well, why don't you call me? Birthdays, nothing like that. Like once in a while, I would see them maybe every year, maybe in the summer for 2 weeks. And they would fawn all over me and be like, oh, you're so beautiful, we love you, you can come live here anytime you want. And then my grandmother told me the truth of the matter, and she was like, Jackie, when I was old enough, obviously, you're not going to tell a kid and hurt a kid unless you're really sick in your head. But she's like, Jackie, she's like, don't you think we would have let you go if they wanted you? She said they didn't want you. Okay, so you know that, right? Even like I watched my dad ghost me. I was acting out when I was younger. I was wild. I've always been a wild child, so I was acting out when I was younger. And I remember this, and I remember looking and watching my dad. They called him, and I stood there, and he basically ghosted me. That's the best way I could describe it. He ghosted me. He just shafted me, and I was just like, that was heartbreaking. Like, he don't even want you. And I was like, okay. And the thing with them, like that part of my family, I found out when I was 18 that my dad won the lottery. My Aunt Vicky, the one that they basically sacrificed, they sacrificed her for fame and fortune. And that's why they're doing very well. And that's what they tried to do with me. They sent my Aunt Claudia, who's a pilot for United, in, right? She decided she was going to fly in. She's never flown in to see me. I didn't even think she liked me. And basically it was on the pretense of that all of them, oh, we lost so much time and we want to get back. And that is the sickest thing that I have ever seen in my life, and the most wicked thing in my life. I am supposedly your family member, blood, someone you're supposed to love, and you devised a plot and plan. But I mean, if you did it to Aunt Vicky, why wouldn't you do it to somebody that you probably never liked in the first place or cared about in the first place? Because when I was, like I said, when I was little, my dad did, which I think this is like the whole destiny swapping thing in its own right. But my dad won the lottery when I was little, and then took off, right? And took his whole family, moved them out of state. I never saw a dime of that money. Could have been said, you could have put that away for your kids. Didn't care. It was all about money with that family. Money, material, such disgusting values they have, and disgusting people. And as I've mentioned, they are Masons. So they have a lot of ties, and there's usually they'll do smear campaigns, and I went through the ringer with that. I lost jobs. I've had phones hacked. I've had bank accounts drained, bank accounts frozen. I couldn't, when I tried to reach out to people. Then on top of it, they're having people paid off. The people paid off that I thought were friends but weren't. Some of the people were paid off to just come in and be friends and be cells, and like sleeper cells, and basically monitors and watch what's going on, right?